Hello folks, so a little bit of a impromptu video today. Basically I'm just going to speak a little bit about kind of where I am currently with my own health and fitness, I guess, my own journey for lack of a better term, and kind of the change in direction, I guess, or the sort of realization I've come to recently in terms of not why I do what I do from a professional standpoint, but why I do what I do from more of a, like, why I train, why I diet, why I'm a boring bastard, and why I do, like, the same shit day after day and eat at Tupperware and things like that. So I think I'll give you a little bit of a background. Ever since I started going to the gym a few years back, from pretty much from the get-go, I've kind of been surrounded by bodybuilders. My first ever coach or trainer was a bodybuilder of sorts, and pretty much from the moment I stepped foot into the gym and started training with him, it was always centered around getting on stage and competing and being a bodybuilder and living that kind of life. And don't get me wrong, the bodybuilding lifestyle has rewarded me massively in terms of, like, I guess for me up until the age of 23, like, I didn't have any kind of passion, ambition, drive, work ethic, commitment or dedication towards anything. I was a lost puppy in life. And I think once I started training, and it gave me a bit of a purpose. And I think the traits and attributes that are required towards that kind of bodybuilding lifestyle, I've been able to sort of extract and throw at other things in my life, i.e. kind of work in other personal things. And I think because of that and the environment that I surround myself with, I've always had this sort of immense pressure, I guess. I've always felt like competing in bodybuilding is something that is just something I kind of have to do it rather than want to do it. It's never really excited me. There's never been that kind of motivation as such to do it. I've always kind of thought, I train like a bodybuilder, I eat like a bodybuilder, I live my life like a bodybuilder, so I guess it just makes sense to compete. Like, any kind of time I've ever dieted or got myself in shape or done a prep, it's always been the same of I've enjoyed the process, but then the actual thought of being on stage has given me mass anxiety, but also just not excited me whatsoever. And I love getting in shape. I love, like, the challenge and the drive, and I think I'm now getting to a point in my life where I'm finally accepting that it's okay to live my life like that and not put on the sparkly punts, the sparkly punts and fake tan and get up on there. And it's just, it sounds so petty and it sounds so minor, but even the things like the skincare, the shaving, the fake tan, it's all stuff that I just puts me off. And even the thought of actually being on stage itself just doesn't excite me, doesn't drive me whatsoever. Whereas I love to train. I love coming in the gym. I love pushing myself. I love seeing what my body's capable of doing. And I love, it's not even just the intensity of all or the effort that's required. It's the level of being, like, accurate with certain movements, and progressing that and being strict with it. And again, it is another form of resiliency, I guess, is keeping that form and that execution within your training an absolute staple, as well as getting strong as fuck at the same time. And it's like, being fully transparent, there's part of me that does feel like a little bit of a shite bag, that does feel like less of a man, or is just backing out on something that I said I was going to do. But it's just a case of, actually, there's not a single part of me that wants to do it. There's just a large part of me that felt like I had to, just because of purely how I live my life. So now I'm at a point where, I mean, I've had a few conversations or debates with others about this. I personally don't think you can call yourself a bodybuilder if you don't compete. I've had a few conversations or debates with people. I personally don't feel you can call yourself a bodybuilder, put yourself into that category if you don't compete. I don't want to be a bodybuilder as such. I don't want to be seen as one. I don't want to be in that category. But I'm also well aware that I guess I live my life like one. And then there's, I have a very close circle of friends. I'm very limited. I'm very specific, and I'm just careful with who I spend my time with. And I guess the people that I do invest my time into and the people that I surround myself with, they live that life. They live the bodybuilding lifestyle, but they also compete at the same time. And these are the same people that I've maybe had that conversation or debate with, where it's, you don't have to compete. There's a difference between being a bodybuilder and being a competitive bodybuilder, which I guess there's some truth behind. But for me personally, it's the same as if you're playing in your mates like Wednesday five-a-side football team, are you going to call yourself a football player? Same sort of thing. Again, I guess this is subjective and everyone has their own opinion. But I'm now at a stage where I finally accepted that that's not the goal for me. I'm not arsed about competing. I'm not arsed about being on the stage. I just love progressing within my training, seeing how far I can take my physique, getting strong, and just the sort of rewards and the benefits in terms of like what traits and attributes you can get from bodybuilding and how they're transferable in other areas of my life. I don't think I'd be where I am professionally or personally. I definitely wouldn't be the person I am today if it wasn't for getting into training and taking it as seriously as I did. Again, I think that's rewarded me not just in my professional life, but in my personal one as well at the same time. So where I am at now is, if I'm being completely honest, there's part of me that feels a little bit anxious or lost. Because I guess when it comes to your training and your diet, there's always that goal and that drive of just pushing it as far as you can because you want to look the best as you can up on that stage. Whereas now I'm kind of like, well, there's no end goal as such. I kind of just need to treat my training like there is, and treat every session just like I'm going in and beating last week. And it's, I guess the reason why I'm anxious or I'm just uncertain about how I feel about it at the moment is just because it is different for me. It's a completely not a complete change of direction because I'm still living exactly the same way, but I guess the motivator is different, the drive is different. I've always been like a work-driven person, or not always, but I have been the past few years certainly. That's my number one priority at this moment in time, is just becoming the best possible coach that I can become, building the brand, building the company. And again, as I said, I don't want to be seen as a bodybuilder. I don't want to be put into that category. And I've never once ever had the intention of becoming like a bodybuilding coach. The reason why I became a coach was to help the people that are in the same position as I was in a few years ago. And people that want to compete don't fit into that bracket or that demographic. So right now with my training, I'm just enjoying it, I guess. I don't want to say it, as much as there is that lack of end goal or drive result, I'm still thoroughly enjoying it, and I'm still living my life like a bodybuilder, eating the same shit out of Tupperware. But again, it's not the stage result that drives me to do that. I guess it's kind of everything else in terms of how it benefits me with my professional and personal life at the same time. But this is I guess this has been a hard one for me to speak a little bit about. It's definitely been hard for me to admit and to accept. I guess over the past couple of months, I've had this conversation with a few people, and I went through a stage of being very disappointed in myself. I just felt like I pride myself on being a hard worker, and I felt like sort of backing out of wanting to compete and shit like that is just stripped that away from me. I just need to, I guess, accept the fact and remember that there's other ways of working hard rather than just competing. Obviously, goes without saying, it's a no-brainer. But yeah, I just wanted to do a short video and speak about exactly where I'm at currently with my own sort of physique development, whatever the fuck you want to call it, my own training, etc. I'm still, the focus right now is kind of maintain the shape that I'm in, get on top of a few things that I'm working on professionally within coaching and within the brand. And then I'm just going to take it sort of day by day and week by week, whether I want to shift my focus on getting peeled for whatever sake, just because I enjoy that kind of challenge, or if I just want to go in the opposite direction and just put on more size. But yeah, that's just been a little bit of an insight into where I'm at currently. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.